Okay, hi everyone. So at the beginning of 2019, I made a video, and in that video I talked about my collection plans for the year, and I figured I'd do something like that again. So I think it'd be a good idea to go over my goals from last year, talk about whether I kind of achieved those goals or not, and what I kind of plan to do moving forward in 2020. So I went back and watched my old video. The thing I set up as my main goal for the entirety of 2019 was to focus on my alts. And I mean, I would say I did a pretty good job at that. There's not a release from any of them that I didn't get to buying. Both photo card wise and album wise, I think I'm on a good track with my alts. I also talked about kind of expanding my Zhao photo card collection, which I can happily say that I actually completed, for the most part, my Zhao photo card collection. There's some things I don't have, but it's not a huge priority to get them. I didn't necessarily expand it, but I did finish my album card collection, which is, of course, priority over anything else. But at the moment, I do have my eye on some other things for Zhao that I am looking to buy. And I also talked about catching up with all of NCT's releases. I can very confidently and happily say that I did that as well. I caught up on all of the albums of theirs that I had to get, and I also caught up entirely with my photo card collection for them, so I'm all caught up with all four of the members. I collect, for the most part, I don't have tens cards from Take Over the Moon yet because I don't have the album yet, so of course I'm not technically caught up, but in the grand scheme of things, I really am caught up. And that's really exciting for me because we can only assume that there's going to be tons more NCT cards to collect in the future, so it's nice to not really have a whole bunch of things that I need to go back and get. Some things on the side that I said I wanted to do is catch up on some of my other collections, including NU'EST, Pentagon, SF9, Red Velvet, Wiki Miki, Gugudan, Pristin, WJSN, and I actually stopped collecting a majority of those groups, so I still collect NU'EST, Pentagon, Red Velvet, and that's it from those groups. I don't collect SF9, Wiki Miki, Gugudan, or WJSN anymore. Pristin is, obviously I don't technically collect them, but I did catch up with their collection this year, and I plan to collect Hinapia releases in the future, just because I love those girls and I want to support them. I'll support all the Pristin girls in whatever they do in the future, but they're the only ones that are actively promoting at the moment, so I'll, of course, support them, buy their albums. And also in 2019, I wanted to collect 101 solo / new group releases. So I basically just wanted to keep up with everything the 101 members were doing in 2019, and I can say I successfully did that as well. I have something from every single one of the members that have released something physically, so that's fun. I was able to keep up with those releases a lot easier than I expected. I kind of expected there to be a lot of things going on all the time with the 101 members going solo and all that other stuff, but didn't necessarily turn out to be that way, which I'm happy about, just because I've talked about this before, but in 2018 I focused a lot on 101 and not really anything else. So that kind of set my collection back a little bit in terms of just literally every other group. So I was kind of really hoping that I wouldn't still be doing the same thing just with, solo releases, but it was manageable, thankfully. And that's basically it for my 2019 goals. I didn't really set a lot of goals for myself. Like I said, my main goal was to focus on my alts, and I was pretty easily able to do that because for Hotshot, they didn't have a comeback this year. They had a few solo releases, which wasn't too big of a deal. Obtention, they only had one release this year as well. They didn't even do anything in Japan. And NCT, they were obviously busy, so I kept up with their stuff pretty well. And then for my girl alts, CLC, they only had one physical release for the year. I decided I'm not gonna buy their promos just because they were being priced really ridiculously. I would love a promo of me and Devil, but it's not happening realistically. And Dio was not active past the comeback they had in March, I think it was, or something like that. So yeah, and then Brave Girls didn't have a comeback this year either, so yeah, that was not too bad. But I would say in 2019 I was able to really catch up with my collection. So like I said, I was behind on a lot of my collections. I caught up really well with the groups that I still decided I wanted to collect. So like I did catch up with New East. I'm still working on catching up with Pentagon, but they've never been too big of a priority. I caught up with Twice for the most part. I'm close to being caught up with Red Velvet. I think there's only one album I need. And I did actually completely catch up. Well, not completely. I did almost completely catch up with Daya. I got my like one holy grail item, which is their debut album, Do It Amazing. I'm so happy I got that. That was probably one of the highlights of my year, was getting that. But yeah, moving on to more of how 2019 actually went for me. So I narrowed down my collection by a lot. Like I mentioned before, I stopped collecting SF9, Wiki Mickey, Gugudan, WJSN, and 17. 17 was a really hard collection for me to give up, but I eventually decided it would not do me any good to continue collecting them, and it also wouldn't do me any good to continue worrying about it, so I decided I would just stop and just call it a day with that. For my photo card collection, I caught up with, my NCT album card collection, my Somi photo card collection, which was probably one of the hardest groups I was collecting from for a while. Like, Somi and Daya cards in general are not easy to find at all, and I was able to, buy the last card I needed and trade for one of the harder cards I needed to find, so that was really lucky. I finished my Unity collection, which is really nice, and like I mentioned earlier, I caught up with my Zhao collection, and I did finish my JBJ and UMB collections. So for JBJ, Taehyun has a whole bunch of stuff, and there are some things I don't have, so it's technically not complete, but it is complete to me. I have everything I want from his JBJ promotions. I guess if I decide to buy anything else from JBJ in the future, that's on my future self. But yeah, and then with my UMB collection, there's only one thing I'm missing from it, so I'm considering it complete. I'm just missing the Korean fan meeting card that they had, and it was like right when their promotion started, so yeah, those cards aren't easy to find. So I feel really lucky because this year I was able to focus a lot more on getting to a place with my collection that I was happy with. At the beginning of the year, I was really worried about where I was going to go with my collection, whether I was going to collect a lot of groups, and eventually, after kind of cutting down on all the groups that I collected, I got to a place where I was really happy with it, and then I kind of got to a place where I was able to start collecting more groups, so I was able to start collecting ITZY. I really like ITZY. I've liked them since their debut. I mean, it's not been long since their debut, but I love their debut. And so I wanted to collect them, and luckily I was able to do it without really having to worry about it. And also, I was able to start collecting 100%, which is a group I've kind of low-key been wanting to collect since about 2016, so I was finally able to move in on that a little bit, which is really exciting because I love their music and I'd love to have all of their albums at one point. But yeah, like I said, I was able to get a good start on that this year. And another major addition to my collection was We in the Zone. So We in the Zone just debuted this year. They are my favorite rookie boys, basically. At the beginning of the year, I had a lot of undebuted favorites. Off the top of my head, I can only think of 3, so that being Shihyun from We in the Zone, Dongmyeon from ONE, and okay, I literally said 3 undebuted favorites, but I can't think of who the third one is anymore. So, but they both debuted this year. I think maybe the third person I'm thinking of is Kijung. Oh no, it was Hangul. Hangul was my third undebuted favorite. Kijung is my favorite, but he's still undebuted. So never mind. But yeah, those 3 debuted. I'm finally able to collect them now. Well, not Dongmyeon, but Shihyun, Hangul, it's a go, and I'm so excited about it because I've been supporting all of those boys for what seems like so long. Like Shihyun and Dongmyeon is 2017, and then Hangul is also 2017. I just hit my 2 years with Hangul recently, so. But yeah, some important things I added to my collection this year include the Hojung Polaroids that I got. So I got the one with the UMB selfie book at some point this year, and I got the one with the Hotshot selfie photo book. It wasn't a selfie photo book, just the normal Hotshot photo book. The one from the photo book is considerably more special to me because it is signed to my name, but I still love my other one a lot. I got the other one just because it was taking a really long time to get the one that was signed to me, so I kind of bought that one as a little bit of a thing to hold me over for a little bit. that was really fun. Some more cool things I added was Obtention's light stick. They finally got a light stick this year, which is so exciting. NCT had a couple photo books this year. Dia's doing amazing, like I already mentioned. But yeah, that's basically it for that. Let's see. So now I'm going to talk about my goals for 2020. So as of right now, I'm not sure what my goals are, but I'm going to say a few things just so I can come back to something. So my overall priorities for 2020 are changing a bit. I'm about to be done with college, so I'll have my degree soon, and I'll be looking for a more professional type job. That being said, my personal life circumstances are probably going to be changing, but there's no guarantee as to if or when that'll happen. With that said, I'd really like to continue to keep up with my alts. I'd really like to continue to expand my collection for my alts and things like that. So like for Hot Shot, I'd really like to finish my photo card sets for Taehyun's birthday and Sungmin's My Moment, and also his second mini album. And I'd like to keep up with anything they do in 2020. Hopefully they do something. And you know, NCT, it might be a bit more of a struggle to keep up with them, but I'm hoping at least their albums I can keep up with pretty easily. Obtention, I praying and hoping for an OT9 comeback within the next couple months, because if TOP doesn't do something soon, I'm walking over there and someone's getting yelled at. But I'm kind of assuming that they continue to do actual photo cards for their releases. I might try to continue to collect full group for them, depending on how hard or easy I feel the cards are to find. Luckily, I was able to do it for the Moment of Illusion, but I take things release by release, I guess. Praying and hoping we get a Dia comeback soon. Brave Girls comeback 2020. I swear it's gonna happen. And CLC, I feel like my girl alts are always a lot easier to keep up with than my boy alts, because my girl alts are significantly less active than my boys. But then, like, how active my boy groups are is totally hard to determine or even like guess. So it's like NCT is on all the time, so it's like you have to be ready for anything whenever. But it's like Hot Shot, you never know. Obtention these days, you never know. So I'd like to hopefully in 2020 finish out my We in the Zone collection for their first album, photo card wise. As of right now, I've bought all but one card that I need. I'm missing one min card, and I really hope I can get that soon. I'm missing one card out of 15. I feel really accomplished at this point, but I hope that shows up at some point and I'm able to finish that. And also their second album too. Doesn't seem like that one's going to be as difficult to collect, but you never know. Hopefully when we get physical releases in 2020, I'd love to continue collecting them. I just have one of their releases, which is actually Japanese, so I'm hoping they actually have Korean physicals coming up, because I'm gonna collect Dongmyoung the second I get the chance. I kind of just want to better determine who my priorities are, because my priorities after my alts kind of vary, but I would say right now a bigger priority for my photo card collection is Twice. I don't really collect very many active girl groups anymore. I either stopped collecting girl groups or they're just inactive, so like my collections are complete. But like Twice, We in the Zone is obviously a priority. I'm trying to think who outside of that is really a priority, but I can't really say. Like X1 maybe, if they don't disband. I would say New East, but then again their cards are really hard to find trades for, and also prices aren't always the best. But I don't know, so that's something I want to figure out. I don't know if there's anything like specific I want to get in 2020. Like I want to finish my Dia collection. I want to finally just bite the bullet and get the last album for them that I need, because it's kind of ridiculous at this point. It's like not even that expensive. It's a normal priced album, but I haven't bought it for some reason yet. I don't know why. But yeah, that's really it. My main goal for 2020 is just to be happy with my collection and where it's at. I don't want to worry about it as much as I did before. I still feel like I'm at an okay place with it, but I feel like with the way I mentioned things are going to be changing, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, so that's basically it for my goals. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the video on that note. I hope all of our favorites are active and healthy and happy in the year of 2020, and I hope we can all have a good time, and I hope a lot of good music is released in 2020, and I hope we don't get any bad news. in 2020. Obviously that's not realistic, but I hope things in 2020 aren't as bad as they seem right now. So anyways, that was everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.